Okay, for questions 5, 6, I think we have 7 and 8 on here. Yep, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We are going to simplify by adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And if it doesn't state it, then you're going to assume that all expressions are defined. So, for the first one, it is dividing. So we have to copy, dot, and then flip these two. So I'm going to rewrite it. 6y squared all over 12x cubed times 42x cubed y cubed all over 5 to the 5th. And technically we can just say this is all 1. That's what I like to do. And then I like to just start reducing. When I take a 12 or 6 out of the top and bottom here, this becomes a 1 and this becomes a 2. And then I'm going to reduce that 2 and I'm going to make this a 21 and this becomes a 1. So to make things clean for myself, I'm going to put my 21 here because 21 times 1 is 21 on top, and 1 times there are no other numbers on the bottom, so that would be a 1, but I'm not going to write it. Actually, I am going to write it just to keep things clear. And then I'm going to reduce the x's. I have 3 down here, and I have 3 right here, so that's an easy cancel. They cancel each other out. The y's, I have 2 plus 3 is 5, and I have 5 on the bottom. Sweet! So cancel those two together equal 5, so I'm going to cancel the 5 on the bottom. So really, my answer, which is awesome, equals 21. And I don't have to do what's undefined because it doesn't state to. Number 6, I'm going to factor out what I can. So I have x minus 1 on top. I have to be careful because this is a plus sign in between. I factor out the bottom, which is x minus 5 and x plus 5. It's a difference of 2 squares, some dot action going on. 3 over x plus 5 on the bottom. And you cannot reduce until you have it all over the same LCM. My LCM for this one is going to be x minus 5 and x plus 5. So here I have my LCM. This whole thing is over my LCM, so I don't have to multiply by anything here. But this one is missing my x plus 5. So I have to multiply this side by x minus 5. So I like to put everything over my LCM. This one I didn't multiply anything by, so I just write it. But because I'm adding, I like to put it back together to see what I get. So I have x squared minus x, and then over here, 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. So that's going to equal x squared. I can combine these two, which would be plus 2x minus 15 all over x minus 5 times x plus 5. And I leave them like that. Now I'm looking at my top and I'm asking myself if I can factor that. So I'm going to go to my next line and say, I'm going to try x and x, and it's negative 15. So I know that if I add 5, but plus 5 and minus 3, they add together to equal 2, but they multiply to equal negative 15. So these two factor. And x plus 5 on the bottom times x minus 5, because that's my LCM. So awesome, those cancel, and what I have left is x minus 3 over x minus 5. That is my answer. Now where it's undefined at would be, I go back to my original, and I have this one, and this one, and this one, but I don't write it twice. So I have 5 and negative 5. Okay, number 7. The first fraction is already reduced, so I just rewrite that. X plus 6 over x minus 7. Put in parentheses because I like to keep them together. Plus, and then on this side, I can't take anything out of it, so I just write minus 12x minus 59 all over, and then right here I think I can factor it. I'm going to try. x minus 7, and x plus 4. So now I look for my LCM, which would be all of this. So I have to multiply this side by all of that. Well, it's already multiplied by that, so I have to do, or it's already divided by that, so I have to multiply by that. So I multiply by x plus 4. And this one over here is already over my LCM, so I don't have to multiply by anything up here. So I'm going to FOIL this. So I have x squared plus 4x plus 6x plus 24 all over my LCM. And then this is also added to what I have here. So minus 12x minus 59. So I have to combine my like terms on top. So I combine everything that's alike. So I'd write x squared. And I'm going to combine my 4x and 6x, that's 10x. 10x minus 12x is negative 2x. And those are done. And then I have positive 24 and negative 59. So that would be 35. So it'd be a minus 35 all over x minus 7 and x plus 4. So now my next job is to factor and see if I can cancel anything out. And this one I'm looking at and I'm like, negative 5 and negative 7 would maybe equal 2x, so I try it. X and x, and since my negative 35 is negative, one of them has to be negative. And I know my 7's negative because my middle number's negative. So I have x minus 7 and x plus 5 all over x minus 7 and x plus 4. So these two are going to cancel, and I have x plus 5 all over x plus 4. Okay, number 8. Don't have much room here, but we're going to try. So this one I don't have to factor anything. That first fraction, x plus, or 4x plus 3 all over x minus 4 minus x minus 7 all over x minus 4. Well, lucky for us, we have a common LCM. So I don't have to multiply by the top by anything on both sides. I could just combine. So when I do this, this is the tricky part. This is in parentheses. So I have 4x plus 3, but I have to distribute that negative to both of them. So minus x and plus. So I minus x and I add 7 all over x minus 4. So my next step is to combine like terms. 4x minus x is 3x, and 3 plus 7 is 10 all over x minus 4. That is my answer. It's undefined at, I go back to my original one, it's factored, it's undefined at 4.